Yeah, boy Jezza back at it again because it's still August and there's still Animal Collective albums out there. If only there weren't so many. But this is where I'd say the real meat of the event starts. Starting with Songtongs, you go through this little golden age where they just pump out classic after classic. Even in the realm of solo stuff, these guys were nuts in the late 100s. Many people would cite Songtongs as the beginning of this golden run, but I'd say Feels is where they just kicked it up a few leagues. Feels feels like the album that they were building up to after Spirit They're Gone, Spirit They Vanished. Feels is the second album where all 4 members are present, and it is a vast improvement over Here Comes the Indian. Compared to Feels, Here Comes the Indian just feels like they are messing around. The fully formed Animal Collective sound is present all throughout Feels. Along with this much more fleshed out sound, Animal Collective has become way more accessible on this album too. And this is a trend that has continued until now, or at least before Tangerine Reef, where Animal Collective just become more poppy, more accessible, and Feels acts like a perfect bridge between the accessible later works and the more organic, weird, experimental early works. That's another reason why Feels is one of my favorite albums from them. It just feels like the best of both worlds. It's poppy to the extent where after listening to it, a ton of the melodies on the album are just stuck in my head all day. Because special note, I listened to it earlier today and the Purple Bottle has been stuck in my head all day. Grass and Can You See the Words and Turn Into Something. And it's experimental to the extent where it's really hard to label this album. There's elements of freak folk, psychedelia, ambient, electronica, experimental pop, and indie rock if you can even call it that. I always bounce around on what genre to call it on my music player because nothing really does it justice. The genre is just Animal Collective. One of the most interesting and notable things about this album is its own special tuning that it has. The story goes they recorded some piano samples from their friend's piano, and this piano is kind of detuned. So instead of trying to recreate those samples to get them tuned, they simply detuned their guitars to that piano. They detuned their studio piano to match the piano. They basically made the album microtonal in its own weird little way, and that just adds to the unique sound. Sections of guitar or harp strumming just sound even more out there because of this. There's several facets to the vocals that I'd like to touch on. For one, AV brought the screaming back from the very early days. So you've got AV screaming in the mix with Panda Bear's sweet vocal harmonies. And then just like on Songtongs, background vocals are used in all sorts of ways to add to the sound. There will be soft ambient outros with layers and layers of vocals with this twinkly piano in the back of it all. And yeah, I'd really like to highlight the piano on this album because other than Spirit They're Gone, Spirit They Vanished, this is their best use of the piano. It just highlights and adds to the emotional depth that this album conveys. Which brings me to my next point. The album's not called Feels for nothing. This is 2005, it predates the meme. If anything, AV might technically be the founder of it. But whatever, lyrically and thematically, a lot of this album just focuses on happiness and sadness and everything in between. Songs of pure joy and crushes and love and breakup and sadness and ambivalency, having mixed emotions, feeling healed. If happiness is up and sadness is down, it kinda does this. Back to the vocals though. This album is pretty much the best representation of what people would consider Animal Collective vocals. A lot of the vocals have this bouncy, playful sound to it. It's equal parts childlike and innocent and out there and psychedelic. Especially in the way it's constantly backed up by non-verbal background vocals. Dobby Bolin. Nice. I just hate Dobby. Die, Imp. And I gotta talk about this album track by track because there's just so many great songs. Did You See the Words would be my favorite Animal Collective opener if it wasn't for the next album. And the next album. But still, the sheer amount of passion and mixed emotions that it radiates, it's one of the most ambivalent songs I've ever heard. The slow build to the climactic middle section just works so well. I love it! And the outro is just as gorgeous as the core of the song with its twinkly piano and all those layers of background vocals. Some of them are Panda, some of them are AV. I know that Hayes or Deacon. What's up with Geologist? Does he ever do vocals? Even background vocals? Come on, Geologist, your voice isn't that squeaky.
Cupcakes are pretty good. I'm not really a sweets person.
Kind of is. Then you get Grass, which is absolutely positively one of the happiest songs I've ever heard. It just sounds representative of the most fun day of someone's life. It really evokes that feeling of when summer starts and you're a kid, and at the same time it also really evokes a sense of getting a new crush. It's just a wild and lovely song and it always brings a smile to my face. It has one of the more prominent uses of the screams I was talking about earlier. The sections after the chorus just have AV screaming while Panda Bear is doing these vocal harmonies in the background. There's such a contrast between how these vocals sound, yet they're both just so exuberantly happy. It gives me like a sweet and sour feel, you know? Like Panda's the sweet and AV's the sour. Then you get Flesh Canoe, which is way more abstract and reverby. It tones down the energy from the previous two songs, it's more slow. There's a very underwater sense to this song, like it feels like it's throbbing almost. Like even to this day when I listen to it, I'm still trying to kind of figure out how they put it together. My brain's still trying to wrap around all the little swirls that go on throughout the song. There's a strong sense of passion and love throughout the song, despite the fact that it's AV singing about Panda. Noah is pretty cute though, not gonna lie. Then you get The Purple Bottle, which is by far one of Animal Collective's best songs. It's my favorite song on the album, and I'm pretty sure I'd rank it top 3 of all the Animal Collective songs. It's fast-paced, upbeat, constantly chugging along to its own rhythmic clicks, and even though it's just over 6 minutes, no moment feels wasted. There's different sections to the song, and each section just keeps getting better and better. Every melody is on point. It's a song all about being in love and being with the person that you love. Every aspect of this song just perfectly conveys that feeling of the highs of love. It may be a very, very, very unconventional love song, but boy howdy is it one of the best. I love The Purple Bottle! Then you get Bees, which kicks off the more ambient half of the album. And you know what this song Bees is about? It's about bees. You know, Bees by Animal Collective, 5th track on Feels. It's really touched me. When Avi sung about bees, I felt that. For real though, this song instrumentally revolves around an auto harp, and its detuned strums really bring out this Eastern vibe. Bees is just kinda out there compared to all the other songs on this album. It's a good song. It's a good song, don't get me wrong. And I'm not complaining about it or anything. I'm just highlighting the fact that it exists. Right smack in the middle of this album full of all these songs about different emotions, there's just this song about bees. The bees, the bees, the bees, the bees. Alright, the joke's over. Then you get Banshee Beat, which is by far the saddest song on the album. It's a little over 8 minutes, and it's essentially this really long, really drawn out, really sad build-up. It all starts with just one soft repeated guitar note, and little by little, more and more is added to the mix until you reach this cathartic climax. It lyrically revolves around the end of a relationship, and it's especially destructive because it's a relationship where both of them can see the ending coming in a very non-verbal way, like they just stop liking each other anymore. And this song has some of Avi's best lyrics, like they perfectly convey this sense of dread. And he touches on how he knows life will continue and all that, but he still knows he's going to be sad even though it's this mutually agreed thing that it's just over between them. In short, Banshee Beat is kind of the yin to The Purple Bottle's yang. Then you get Daffy Duck, which has this really weird alien sense to it. It almost sounds like a Here Comes the Indian song, but with a much prettier sound palette. There's several moments where the song kind of restarts in a way, always coming back in with the same set of looping guitar notes. I don't know why, but that aspect of the song has always kind of given me some weird, where am I kind of vibe. Then you get Loch Raven, which sounds very rejuvenating, like getting better after something has made you unwell. Underneath its slightly swampy sound, it just conveys inner peace. I do want to say though, the chimey frequency in the background kind of takes away from it a little bit. It just kind of feels out of place, especially since they've come so far after Dancing Manatee. Like, why are we still doing this? Why? And then there's the finale, Turn Into Something, which returns to the same general sound as the first half of the album. It's just very joyous, poppy, fun, definitely one of the most hummable songs. And after toning down from a cool little climax it has, it's got this long outro section, which, keep in mind, is the entire album's outro section if you think about it. And it could not have been placed better because it's one of Animal Collective's best ambient sections. Like, seriously, the outro for Turn Into Something is just too good for words. So, as you can tell, I love this album. It's Animal Collective at their most playful, their most fun, their most great. It's a very touching album in a multitude of different ways, and this is all complemented by just how unique its sound is. Nothing but praise for Feels. I love Feels. Feels is half the reason I'm even up here talking about all these albums. And despite everything I just said, it's still not my favorite. I'd say they're still better. So now you get what I'm saying when we're getting to the real meat here. This has been Jezza. Welcome to the meat. Tune in next time for whoa, that isn't an Animal Collective album. That's a solo album. That doesn't count. But you know what? It's too important to their evolution and growth that I can't avoid talking about it. See ya.
I have a Discord. It's pretty funny.